One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. To let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Well, we all made it to a hump day, hump day morning, I guess, right? So much love, honor, respect to everybody tuning in from wherever the hell you guys happen to be, man. All right, so we've got 10 major stories going on. Some are follow-ups, some are breaking. As we do here, we follow the news and we figure out what is happening out there. So nonetheless, I have this titled as Trump-Venezuela latest, as well as Brown University Manhunt, and then POTUS primetime address 9 p.m. Eastern. So basically, Trump is coming out and addressing the nation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. So just so you guys know, that is why it's in the title, so you guys know what's happening tonight. Okay, obviously I can't fit everything into the fucking title, so let me go ahead and just let you guys know what chronologically what we're working with real quick. So we got Hegseth Rubio on deadly boat strikes. Yes, as you guys know, Congress is definitely ramping up about those boat strikes, so we're going to see some definite talks and discussion about it. House Democrats speak amid the healthcare fight. Very interesting. But of course, we're going to give them their time. Vance on economy and affordability. I guess he had this somewhere in Pennsylvania. He had this like big event that he was speaking at yesterday. So White House on Trump. White House on Trump address and Vanity Fair piece. We have that in Caroline Leavitt's outside the White House talking. Usually she does this asking questions or answering questions and stuff like that. And then Brown University student details shooting. Maybe the shooter. I don't know why they say shooting. Maybe they're showing that they caught actual video footage of the shooting. I don't know. We're going to find out together when we get to that. We do have a breaking news story. Trump announces blockade of sanctioned oil tankers into Venezuela. Damn, bro. All right. So also something new development. FBI releases Brown University shooting suspects timeline footage. So I guess they have a timeline of where he's walked since the whole thing, because as you guys know, Ring cameras are, a part of almost every single house, and they just kind of track you where the hell you're going from one camera to the next camera to the next camera. So that will be also interesting. Now, regards to Bondi and over there in Sydney, Australia, Bondi shooting, surviving suspect charged, 15 counts of murder and terrorism charges. That still seems too lenient, to me. That shit still sounds lenient. Anyways, Nick Reiner's hotel room reportedly, quote, full of blood in parents' murders. Now, I'm not surprised by that. I figured that would probably be the case, being that, his internal family thing there. Brutal. Brown University shooting manhunt intensifies, and they do have some different images that it's already showing me right off the bat. So we do have some new footage of this guy, said footage. But we do have it. So anyways, that's the lineup. By the way, I want to thank Motobomb and the coffee crew for rating us this morning. I very much appreciate that. Absolutely. Thank you guys very much for being here. And listen, before we get into all of it, let me just go ahead and do my call to actions real quick, and we'll get it right into it. Make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Also, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But let's go ahead and get to the money part. Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail. So make sure you guys follow along. We've got some great content over there as well. You guys can direct message me over there as well. And we also have a Discord server for all of you legends. Make sure you guys join up on that. We have the majority of you guys in there, but make sure you guys join up. There's a video, down in the video description down below, there's the links for everything. So make sure you guys check those out. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live onto the show and shouted out. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they'd take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can absolutely donate to. And I have my email up, so if anything comes through, I'll read it out like a super chat. All right, so we got to get right into this shit, man. We almost every single morning now, the minimum standard at this point is 10 stories. Back in the day, we used to do this shit in 6 stories. Now we're doing minimum 10. So yesterday, I think, was 12, something like that. Anyways, yes, and make sure you double tap the screen over there on the vertical side. I very much appreciate that, Naomi. Good morning to you, as well as we got Vanguard Ratchet in the building. Shout out. Good morning to you. We got Steve Easy, as well as Mountain Woman, and Liquored Up with Poncho, my man. Good to see you, as well as Bill Castle. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. We got Biker Babe in here. Good morning to you. We got Rabbit of Chaos as well. We are scrolling on down as fast as I humanly can by still being able to read. We got Jimmy Mack as well. And we got Lone Wolf. Good morning to you. We got Steve Posey as well. Good morning to you, kind sir. Eat My Left Nut, by the way, which is Charles Darwin from Down Under. We always appreciate you and your input, man. We got Roger as well, my man. Good morning to you. And we got Josh Phillips. Good morning, Sick Bastard. Thank you guys for coming in and hanging out with us this morning. Always appreciate it. We got Crystal, the like button, by the way. Good morning to you. And Motobomb. All right, let's go ahead and pretty much get right into this shit. We got a lot to cover this morning. So Hegseth, Rubio, both of them on the deadly boat strike. So let's go ahead and bring this up. This was supposed to be something that we were going to talk about yesterday, but it didn't come out in time by the time we ended the live stream. So this is kind of what I was hoping was going to come out right before I ended the show yesterday, but it didn't. So anyways.
Proud of what we're doing, able to lay it out very directly to these senators and soon to the House, but it's all classified. We can't talk about it now. We're also going to tomorrow allow the HASC and SAS to see the unedited video of September 2nd, alongside with Admiral Bradley, who has done a fantastic job, has made all the right calls, and we're glad he'll be there to do it. But in keeping with long-standing Department of War policy, Department of Defense policy, of course, we're not going to release a top-secret, full unedited video of that to the general public. HASC and SAS.
Oh, man. So, I mean, you'll release all the hot button fucking shit that's going on every time you strike a boat. You can't give us the one thing that they're asking, which is not surprising. I'm not surprised that they're holding on to the second strike video. That's essentially what they're being asked about.
Appropriate committees will see it, but not the general.
That's right, Jimmy Mack.
All right, so that was Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth as he was speaking to reporters after testifying before the Senate. We do see Senator Lindsey Graham now speaking. Let's continue to listen in.
Oh, boy.
There's no doubt in my mind that we have the legal authority to blow up these boats, interdict these boats. In 1989, President Bush, 41, literally invaded Panama, dropping the 82nd Airborne, taking the president of Panama out, putting him in American prison because he was a narco.
Right, so you want to do regime change.
Terrorist drug dealer. There is no difference. In 1994, President Clinton took down the military takeover, the junta, the generals who took over Haiti, and brought back civilian control of Haiti. He was right to do that.
What's up, Dylan Patterson? Good morning to you as well. Great to see you.
41 was right to clean up Panama. Trump is right to
yesterday,
deal with a
Virgil.
narco-terrorist state called Venezuela. Maduro is not a legitimate president. He's actually head of one of these terrorist organizations, and I am glad that we're taking him on. But here's my concern. You got 15% of the Navy pointed to this guy. If he's still standing when this is over, this is a fatal, major mistake to our standing in the world. If after all this, Maduro is still in power, that's the worst possible signal you could send to Russia, China.
Oh my God. We need to stop getting ourselves involved in bullshit, bro.
Iran. So I asked
And I'm not saying that they aren't terrorists and all the drug, all that. Yes, that is an issue, but we're using these as an excuse, kind of like a front to be able to go do regime change, and I don't like that. Either go straight for fucking regime change and say it, hey, we're doing this for regime change, fuck them, or go, hey, we're doing this because we're stopping drugs coming in from the United States. But I have yet, from all the drug boat strikes, I have yet to see a single drug, just so you know.
Question, what happens when he leaves? And they say that this is counter drugs. It'd be nice if he left. That's not a good answer. I want to reassert again, you cannot allow this man to be standing after this display of force, and I did not get a very good answer as to what happens next. I think it should be.
Nice logical fallacy that you use there, Watkins, or whatever your fucking name is. Yeah, of course. That, let me say one thing, and then that has nothing to do with these people. Yeah, of course, they both suck. You know what I mean? I don't understand why you would try to use a fallacy against me like that.
Is it a mistake? Is it a mistake?
I think the video should be given to everybody in Congress. The least of my concerns is this friggin' video. Release it, make your own decisions. This is lawful. I have every confidence that what they're doing is no different than what Bush did. Nobody in the Congress accused the military leadership under President Bush 41 of being a war criminal for invading Panama without congressional authorization.
Okay, so he's going to keep referring to the 80s or whatever. That's what he's going to keep doing regarding Bush Sr. Anyways, we're going to move on. That shit is just going to go on and on and on for like 10 minutes straight. No need to do that. We got like fucking 9 more stories to get through. So, House Democrats speak amid healthcare fight. Okay, let's hear what the fight is all about. I'm sure what they're asking for is the same thing as they've been always asking, right? Which is this.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Shit.
Denied.
All right, here we go.
And welcome back to Live now from Fox. We just heard from House GOP leadership. Now we're hearing from House Democrats as they are now holding a press conference. On the other side of this is my colleague Stephanie Quinue. Thanks for watching Live now from Fox.
Donald Trump promised to lower costs on day one. Hardworking families have been pleading for Republicans to do just that and to keep his
These guys always speak so slow. I've got to speed them up. Here we go.
promise, but instead of offering real solutions and working with us to achieve lower costs.
Oh, Jimmy Mack, if you lost your Bic, that means you got to go over to the stove, you know what I mean? Light your shit. Can't let that stop you. Can't allow all that shit to stop you, homie. Speak of. All right, we're good.
Congressional Republicans are putting on a show this week. Their bill, which may not even have the support of their entire conference, will not extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits and will not lower costs that families face. Even if it were to pass, it won't become law. This isn't a serious effort to address rising costs of healthcare that millions of Americans will face. Now, $1,000.
Honestly, Steve, it's kind of interesting. I actually like watching the opposition. Some people, like even my dad, he'll be like, I don't know how the fuck you can watch the opposition like that. Like it pisses me off and shit. And I'm like, yeah, it pisses me off too. But I actually like knowing what's fucking going on both sides. I like both. I'm not just biased to a single side. I mean, yes, I am, obviously. But I give it an open chance. I want to know their fucking their worldview. I want so that I can defeat it.
More in new costs thanks to Republicans. Meanwhile, Democrats on both sides of the Capitol have a solution we are on board with: to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits and ensure that Americans' premiums don't double, triple, or even quadruple. We only need 4 Republicans to join us. Time is still marching on while Republicans sit on their hands. The American people will pay the price for the inaction, and Republicans will no doubt pay a price at the ballot box next year. Next, I'll yield to Vice Chair Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar. My heart goes out to the victims and the families and all those affected at the mass shooting at Brown University. I hope law enforcement catches the murderer.
I hope so too. I think everyone's hoping for that.
And that person is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Holy shit. Steve Posey coming in and dropping a mega bomb here. Let's go. Steve Posey gifting out 5 gifted memberships, man. Not only helping me, but helping 5 of you guys, man. I very much appreciate that, Steve Posey. Thank you for that. That goes a long way, bro.
Request the FBI director to stop putting out false information. It's not the first time he's done it. He wrongly identified a potential suspect in this case. There's literally no reason for the FBI director to have to be the first one to tweet something, to put out these things before verifying the facts. And when he does that, it ends up potentially ruining lives, putting the public at risk. And it's not something that FBI director needs to do. I ask him to just stop doing that. I also want to say that my prayers are with the Jewish community, both in the United States and across the world. A heinous attack in Australia was completely devastating. No one should ever be targeted because of their religious beliefs, especially when they're practicing those religious beliefs.
Happens all the time, homie. Happens every day.
And anti-Semitism, both in the U.S. and around the world, has continued to grow. And we need to do more to stamp.
What's up, brother TVT in the building? Shout out to my man up there in Canada.
This form of discrimination out, one of the oldest in humankind, and it is a scourge upon humanity, and we need to all work together to eradicate it. Now I'd like to talk about jobs, which we've now reached the highest unemployment.
I really wanted to get to, I mean, I understand the jobs aspect too, but really what I'm listening for here is I want to hear the argument regarding healthcare. That's what I want to hear.
And since 2021, 4.6%. The American people know that the policies of Trump and Republicans are crushing people economically.
Stop the cap.
We know costs also continue to rise, grocery costs, electricity costs, as well as healthcare costs. And Republicans have had an entire year to
That's right, wild card, facts. And great to see you in the chat, bro.
fix the healthcare system. They knew that the ACA subsidies were expiring, and they've done nothing about it. And this week, they still don't have a plan to restore the subsidies for the ACA. Democrats have a discharge petition. 214 members have signed it. We just need 4 Republicans to sign this discharge petition, and we can stop these premium rates from increasing for people on the ACA. And, I have a great honor now to introduce our tremendous field general and head of the DCCC, Susan Del Bene, from the great state of Washington.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks to Chairman Aguilar and our Vice Chair, Ted Lieu.
Oh, my God. I really am uninterested at this point now. But make sure you guys hit that like button, by the way. You guys don't have to like all the craziness in the fucking world, but you guys can like it for me and my takes and what we do here, man. So I very much appreciate all of you guys.
For inviting me today. Today we had caucus down the street, and we gave an update on our efforts to retake the majority and hold Republicans accountable for their disastrous agenda. Americans across the country are rejecting Republicans in election after election this year. They've made clear that they are souring on House Republicans' broken promises, and it's just been a series of broken promises. The American people want leaders who are going to stand up for them, address the issues that are making their lives more unaffordable.
Yeah, I was really, really trying to fucking get somewhere on this, but it's unfortunate. They're kind of just doing the same thing. I mean, they're just whining over the top over it. This is exactly what happens. Let me get the violin for you guys. Just whining over the top of these motherfuckers. I'm with you, homie. Let's just go move on. I'm with you. Okay, so Vance did have he spoke at some sort of either rally or something. There was something going on over there in Pennsylvania. I'm not really sure what was happening, but let's go ahead and bring it up, and we'll go ahead and discuss it and figure out what it was being said here.
Pennsylvania, it's a good day. Anytime
in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Time you get out of Washington, D.C., and I got to tell you, I want to go to the bar and drink whatever these guys over here are drinking, because they are having a good time.
Hell yeah, I'm down with that shit.
They're having a good time. I want to thank a few people before I get started here. First of all, I'm so honored to be joined by our wonderful second lady, Usha Vance, my lovely wife, Usha. I want to thank our great Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez de Remmer, who's doing an amazing job, and she's focused on something that I think is very much close to the heart of our great workers here in Pennsylvania, which is this very simple idea that you ought to be able to raise a family and earn a good wage.
Oh, shit. We got fucking baked over there in Allentown. Is that where you're actually at right now?
Even if you don't go to college. We don't want to force everybody to go to college. We want to empower people who want to work with their hands to earn a good wage and do a good job, and she's fighting for that every single day. Lori's doing a great job. We have got our great Congressman, Ryan McKenzie. Ryan, please stand up and say hello to everybody. Ryan is doing a good job in Washington. He's got a great heart for the people of this district. He's only been in town for a couple of years, maybe only a year now, right? That you've been in Congress. And you see it all the time. You see it with Democrats and Republicans. Sometimes people go to Washington and forget who they serve. Not Ryan McKenzie.
It happens fucking majority of the time. I would say 98% of the time.
You are very lucky in Pennsylvania to have one of the good ones, and Ryan is helping us every single day.
We got Carrie up in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you.
Fight for American workers. I believe, young man, shouldn't you be in school? We got a great young patriot over here. You got to come up and take a photo afterwards. But I also want to give a shout out to Treasurer Stacey Garrity. Stacey, thanks for everything that you do, and thanks for being here today. Where's she? There we go. And of course, finally, to all the employees and the management, the good people of Uline for making it possible to be here. This is a massive facility, and I think that it speaks to what's going on in the United States of America under the past 10 months of Donald J. Trump's presidential leadership. Under this president, my friends, we are building again. We are investing in the United States of America again. You heard our Secretary of Labor talk about it.
Are we not men? Because right now we've got 202 people watching. Go on the other live stream and see how many people are watching.
61,000 jobs added in the month of November, and that's not all. We saw private sector wage growth grow at a rate of 4.2%. You know what that means? That means we're seeing the fastest private sector wage growth that we have seen in this country in many, many years. And we're doing it by having a president and an administration that believes in you and fights for you. That is what we're trying to do every single day. Now, I will say, as excited as I was to be here this morning, I remember when I got off the airplane, and it is cold. And, you know, like a good gentleman, I let my wife come down the steps first, and then I get to the bottom of the steps, and there's a bunch of firefighters from the Great Lehigh Valley who want to take...
Wait, do I need to answer you or something like that?
A photo with me, and obviously I love our firefighters. I'm happy to take a photo. Now, here's the problem. To the right of me is all these media cameras, probably broadcasting my every moment on national television, some of the fake news gathered with us here today. And to the left of me is these great firefighters, and there before me is a sheet of black ice. And I think to myself, if I walk over to those guys and take this photo, I am going to bust my you-know-what. I'm not going to say it because we have this.
What's up, Extra Surprise? And by the way, yes, make sure you guys smash that like button and double tap the screen, by the way, over there on the vertical. We got 223 of you guys. Make sure you guys do that for me, man. I very much appreciate that.
Very bright young man here. I don't want to teach any bad words. I don't want your mom and dad to be mad at me. So I do what any self-respecting man would do in a situation like that. I send my wife to go and take a photo with the firefighters. No, I didn't.
What's up, Tiffany? And happy hump day. Great to see you in the chat.
I actually didn't. I did it the right way, but I did do sort of the Biden slow shuffle to get over there. I did not want these national cameras to catch me doing anything, you know, because if I wiped out on that runway, you all know that would be national news for the next week. Now, Joe Biden could fall walking up the steps in broad daylight in 80-degree weather. Nobody would mind it, but if me or the president do anything like that, it's going to be plastered all over the news. But now we're here. We've made it. We have not wiped out, and we're here to talk about America's economic comeback. And ladies and gentlemen, we needed an economic comeback in the United States of America. We needed it. When we talk about all the wage growth, when we talk about all the people who are coming into the United States to invest in the American worker, we've got real money, real jobs, and real opportunity. What that means for the state of Pennsylvania is that in just the last 11 months, we're creating 60,000 good-paying jobs for Pennsylvania families, and we're bringing in, just in this one Commonwealth, $100 billion of new investment into this great place. That is real opportunity for the American people. That is real wage growth for the American people. And look, I grew up in a community. I was raised by my grandmother in a community where when I was growing up, the factories were closing down. And those good paying jobs, they weren't coming into our communities. They were getting shipped overseas by politicians in Washington, D.C. The President of the United States has set this entire administration on a different course. We are sick of rewarding companies that ship jobs overseas. We're going to reward companies that build right here in America and give Americans good wages to do it. And you already see it, my friends. You already see it in some of the numbers that we're seeing. When I talk about what we are most proud of, I probably start with what we've been able to do at the southern border, and we'll talk about that in a second. But
which Trump has, I mean, the truth is he's done a good job on immigration, but in my worldview, he hasn't done enough. He hasn't done anywhere close to enough. It needs to be ramped up, you know what I mean? That in my worldview, you know, that's the way I look at it.
Right after that is if you go to the Biden administration, the average American family lost $3,000 of take-home pay through the terrible inflation of the Biden administration. In just 10 months of the Trump administration, the average American family has gained about $1,000 of take-home pay. Now that difference could not be starker. When Joe Biden was president for 4 years, he took $3,000 out of your pocket. And in just 10 months of the president's leadership, we have put $1,000 back in your pocket. That's what that means. And that's just the beginning, my friends. That is just the beginning.
What's up, Blair? Good to see you. And good morning, by the way. Yeah, definitely. The more speaking engagements, absolutely. I mean, you got to be able to run off of something, aside from, what he's already done as a vice president. Of course, that speaks big volumes. But going out there and engaging with the community is important for office, obviously.
Because if you look at what we're doing every single day, you are going to have, and if this doesn't turn out to be true, I'll come back here and you can all tell me I'm wrong. But I'm telling you, it's going to be true. You are going to have middle-class Americans, middle-class Pennsylvanians, some of the best tax season in 2026 that you've ever had. Because if you look at no taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips, when we talk about no taxes on your auto loans if you buy an American-made car, now those are political words. I'm sure you've heard them on TV, but starting with tax season in just a couple of weeks, you're going to see that in your tax refund. That's what that means. More money in your pocket because you've got a president and a Congress that are fighting for you for a change, and that's exactly what it should be. And I got to say, I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised by when the Democrats talk all the time about affordability. Democrats say, things aren't affordable. This isn't affordable. This has gotten more expensive. Drugs have gotten more expensive. Housing's gotten more expensive. And you know what? They're right, and it was because of them. It ain't that hard. If you go back to the 4 years of the Biden administration, why did housing get so expensive, double in price during the Biden administration? It's because Joe Biden let in 20 million illegal immigrants who took homes.
Shit. What up, Stray Jacket? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat as well.
That ought by right go to American citizens and to the people of this great state. When we talk about why did health care get so unaffordable during the Biden administration, it's because Joe Biden allowed prescription drug companies to take advantage of this country. Europeans were paying way less for prescription drugs than our American citizens. It took Donald J. Trump to haul those pharmaceutical executives into the Oval Office and say, no more. Europe's going to pay more for drugs, and America's going to pay less for drugs because we got to fight for the American people for a change. Why have rents gone down for 4 consecutive months? And I know they're still too high, but why have rents gone down for 4 consecutive months? Because we're starting to get those illegal aliens out of the United States of America. Those criminals, those gang members, those people who are taking homes that ought by right go to the people in this room and your children and your grandchildren. It's simple economics. If you have fewer people, fewer illegal aliens trying to buy homes, that means American citizens are going to finally be able to afford a home again. It's very, very simple economics. When you ask, why is it that we have trillions of dollars of new investment coming into the United States of America? Because we finally got a president who says, if you're going to build in America, if you're going to invest in America, we're going to make it easy for you. But if you're not going to build anything in America, if you're going to try to ship an American job overseas, then we are going to penalize you for doing something.
What's up, Tyrone? Great to see you back in the chat.
Overseas that you ought to do in the United States of America. That's why we've got so much money coming in. So if you look at every single affordability crisis that we talk about in the United States of America today, it's because we inherited a nightmare of an economy from Joe Biden. The highest peacetime debt and deficits in the history of the United States of America. That blows the door off inflation. The highest energy prices in the history of the United States of America. We are in one of the great energy regions in the entire world, not just in America, in the entire world. You know why energy prices are lower? You know why gas prices have come down so much? Because we finally got an American president who wants to invest in American energy and American workers instead of green energy boondoggles that are produced overseas. Huge. So on all these things, my point, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are making progress. And I never forget.
We got Mr. J.R. Bowling in the chat. Good morning to you, kind sir, and happy hump day. Great to see you in the chat.
Where I come from, I never forget who I serve, and I know that there is so much more progress to be made. I remember my grandmother in times like this of the holidays. Of course, I think a lot of us remember the loved ones that we've lost. I remember my dear Mamaw, that's what I called her, and I was in a particularly hard math class in high school. And she said, "What do you need to do well in this class?" My grades weren't so good, and she went out, even though she could not afford even the essentials in life, she went out and got me a calculator, a very expensive calculator, so that I could do well in this math class. I remember what it feels like for American families when you have the government take $3,000 out of your pocket through higher taxes and higher inflation. I know what it's like for a woman who's trying to support a grandson but can't afford her prescription drugs because pharmaceutical companies are taking advantage of the United States of America. I remember what it's like when you have to choose between putting food on the table or getting the prescription that you need to stay healthy. And that is not a life that Donald Trump or I want for the citizens in the greatest country in the world. We want you. We want you to be able to afford the things that you have to give your kids and your grandkids a good life. We want you to check your credit card statement and for that to be an annoyance, something you got to do rather than something that causes a lot of stress and anxiety. We don't want a single parent or grandparent to have to look at their checking account and decide whether they're going to buy food or whether they're going to buy medicine this month. We are fighting for you every single day. And I don't want you to think for 1 second that because Joe Biden gave us the worst economy in the world that we forget it. No, we know. We know exactly what we were left with. We know exactly the consequences that it's caused for so many of our great families all across Pennsylvania. And I promise you, there is no person more impatient to solve the affordability crisis than Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and leave it off at that because this whole thing is 35 minutes. We got a good amount of his speech in there. I gave him, enough time to speak there. We're going to move on, though, because we still have many stories to get to. Okay, so White House on Trump addresses Vanity Fair piece. Very interesting. But first, guys, remember to always embrace your fuck ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up. And fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Oh my God. All right, let's get back to
President
this.
Trump is going to be giving a joint address to, or an address to the nation, not a joint address, an address to the nation tomorrow night, live from the White House here, 9 o'clock Eastern. I know you guys will all be tuning in. It's going to be a really good speech. I was just in the Oval Office with the president discussing it. He's going to talk a lot about the accomplishments over the past 11 months, all that he's done to bring our country back to greatness, and all he continues to plan to do to continue delivering for the American people over the next 3 years. As for the Vanity Fair article, Michael, I'll take your question directly. This is...
What's up, Stephanie? Good to see you in the chat, by the way.
Fortunately, another example of disingenuous reporting, where you have a reporter who took the chief of staff's words wildly out of context, did not include the context those conversations were had within. And then further, I think the most egregious part of this article was the bias of omission that was clearly present. And we see a lot of this when dealing with the media every day. You will leave out important context, leave out comments and facts. Many people in this building spoke with that reporter, and those comments were never included in the story, probably because it didn't push this false narrative of chaos and confusion that the reporter was clearly trying to push. So what I'll say about our chief of staff, as you've seen from not just myself, but also the entire cabinet, and a groundswell of support from people on Capitol Hill who don't even work in this building, about how incredible Susie Wiles has been to President Trump. And he's been able to accomplish so much because of his leadership and his tenacity, but also because of Chief of Staff Wiles's leadership and her ability to effectuate his agenda. So thank you.
Yeah, because I do everything within 1 hour. I don't sit here, and that was the end of that right there. Boom, she walked away, it was over. So yeah, I condense everything into 1 hour, and usually we run about 10 stories. So, Anyways, okay, so now we got Brown University student details shooting. So they say shooting. I don't know if they meant shooter or if they're talking about specifically they got some, footage or something like that of the actual shooting. I don't know. So we're going to find out together right now. And here we go. Boom.
We do want to continue on with our top stories that we're now following today. I want to put this back up on your screen. This is from the FBI in Boston. And so new details are now emerging at this hour as the FBI, in coordination with the Providence, Rhode Island Police Department,
No, they probably just got this image.
are now releasing newly enhanced photos of this person of interest in a mass shooting that took place at Brown University on Saturday.
Man, that's a pretty shitty picture if it's enhanced.
The FBI is now offering a reward of up to $50,000 for information that leads to the identification, arrest, and conviction of the individual responsible. And of course, they have the contact information there on your screen as well. And so this all happened and unfolded just a few days ago as it happened inside
What's up, Gunpowder Nitro?
the
Good morning.
engineering building
Great to
around
see you.
4 p.m. last Saturday. 2 Brown University students were killed. 9 others have been injured in the process as well. And so the manhunt is still underway at this time. But we're now getting new details from those who were on campus at the time of the shooting. And I now want to bring into the conversation second-year physics master student, Ref Berry. Ref, thanks so much for being with us here on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I first want to say
Oh my God.
condolences to you and all of those on campus who were with you at the same time. Because from how I understand it, Ref, you were in the engineering building at the time that those initial shots rang out. I want to take a moment first.
So he was actually there, but he didn't witness it. He was in the, class or something.
Walk us through what your day looks like going into it. Was it another?
Oh, no, I don't give a shit about that. Come on. These fucking people. Okay, so they came out. So I only care about what the actual facts of the equation is. I don't care about your speculation. I don't care about your guesses. I don't care about your feelings. Don't care. So anyways, so they showed that the new fact of that equation was that they got that photo and it was enhanced. Okay, cool. Now, breaking. We have a breaking ordeal that happened yesterday. Obviously, I only stream 1 hour a day, so 23 hours happens, and there's a lead up to this morning. So there was a breaking story happening. Trump announces blockade of, quote, sanctioned oil tankers into Venezuela. All right, let's go and bring it up, and we'll go and discuss it real quick.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi with some breaking news from President Trump. He is ordering a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers into Venezuela, ramping up pressure on Maduro. This is a post from President Trump on Truth Social just a short while ago. He said,
"Well, you guys fucking off, you guys being mean to each other or something?" I don't know. I haven't been watching, to be honest. Sorry, guys.
Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It will only get bigger, and the shock to them will be like nothing they have ever seen before. Until such time as they return to the United States of America, all of the oil, land, and other assets that they previously stole from us. The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from the stolen oil fields to finance themselves, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and kidnapping. For the theft of our assets and many other reasons, including terrorism, drug smuggling, and human trafficking, the Venezuelan regime has been designated a foreign terrorist organization. Therefore, today, I am ordering a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going into and out of Venezuela. The illegal aliens and criminals that the Maduro regime has sent into the United States during the weak and inept Biden administration are being returned to Venezuela at a rapid pace. America will not allow criminals, terrorists, or other...
Did you hear me call? I did wish you a good morning, by the way, Stephanie. I see you.
Countries to rob, threaten, or
Great to
harm
see
our
you.
nation.
Happy hump
and
day.
likewise will not allow a hostile regime to take our oil, land, or other assets, all of which must be returned to the United States immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, again, President Trump just putting that out on Truth Social a short while ago. We do have more on this story from Fox News reporter Rebecca Castor. Lawmakers in Washington are learning more about strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean, but many still have concerns. And now the Pentagon says it will not release the full unedited video.
Well, Naomi, you drop it, and then Jimmy, you drop it too. Boom. Problem solved.
Of the now infamous double tap strike. Fox's Rebecca Castor has these details for us.
Videos of alleged drug smugglers getting blown out of the water have become routine content for the War Department.
So we're proud of what we're doing.
War Secretary Pete Hegseth briefed lawmakers again on Capitol Hill Tuesday as Democrats demand clarity on President Trump's plans for Venezuela.
Policies in the Caribbean are unclear. We don't know what the limits are. We don't know where they'll stop. We don't know what the ultimate goal is.
Scrutiny also continues over an attack back in early September when the Pentagon ordered a second strike on a boat after the first failed to kill everyone on board. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have been calling for the full video to be released. But Hegseth says he's not going to do that.
Of course, we're not going to release a top secret, full unedited video of that to the general public.
At least 94 alleged narco-terrorists have been killed since September. And while some Republicans think President Trump should have secured Congress's approval first, most of the party is backing the mission.
The process we have is...
Yo, my man, Uncle Fester coming in the chat, bro, and gifting out 5 gifted memberships, bro. Let's go. I very much appreciate that. Goes a long way and also helps not only me, but 5 others in the IWF, man. So I very much appreciate you. Thank you for that. We got Stacks in the building as well. Good morning to you. And Bree as well. Good morning to you guys. Thank you for being here. All of you guys.
Legally sound. It's been supported by legal opinions for a quarter century now of how we find these people, we fix them, and we finish them.
Trinidad and Tobago also announced it's allowing the U.S. military to use its airports as speculation escalates that President Trump is preparing for attacks inside Venezuela. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And you gonna hold it? I was seeing how long they were gonna hold that fucking scene. That's hilarious. Okay, so I actually want to hear what Rubio has to say because I actually hadn't heard what he said. We tried to cover Hegseth, and we did in the beginning here, but we didn't hear Rubio.
The pool camera. Why now?
All right, thank you, guys. Obviously, we had a classified hearing, so the details of which we can't discuss. It's, I believe, our 22nd or 23rd bipartisan engagement. We'll continue to engage with Congress on this. We're headed to the House now to do a similar briefing and provide updates on this counter-drug mission, which is focused on dismantling.
Good morning, Gary, and happy hump day, man.
The infrastructure of these terrorist organizations that are operating in our hemisphere,
undermining
the security of Americans, killing Americans, poisoning Americans. And this has been a highly successful mission that's ongoing and continued, and we're pleased to be here today to update Congress on how that's developing and how that's moving forward. As I said, I believe it's our 22nd, 23rd such engagement, certainly been at least the 4th or 5th that I've been involved in, and those will remain and be ongoing.
I would just echo that. It is the 22nd bipartisan briefing we've had on a highly successful mission to counter designated terrorist organizations, cartels, bringing weapons meaning drugs, to the American people and poisoning the American people for far too long. So we're proud of what we're doing, able to lay it out very directly to these senators.
And we heard that part. We did hear that part already because that's the part that they showed originally. Okay, so we're going to move on. New FBI releases Brown University shooting suspects timeline footage. So I'm guessing what they're talking about here is most likely they're going to show like, from one door ring, to another ring camera. And it'll just show like where he's being tracked, where they found him so far, where they are. I mean, here's the thing. This guy's could probably fucking out of the state by this point. I mean, this is going to be a rough one for sure. All right, here we go.
Look at this. On your screen here, you're going to see the suspect wanted in connection with this case walking through. You can see them highlighted there and circled. Now, investigators providing no indication that they were any closer to zeroing in on his identity. That's according to a news conference.
Stacks, they're using it as a cover, that's their excuse to get regime change over there in Venezuela. That's it. And I just hate that they are like, either do one or the other, just sack up. Gross sack and say, yeah, we're fucking wanting regime change. Or you go, hey, we're really bombing the shit out of these motherfuckers because they really do got some drugs. But don't use it as an excuse to go do it and do regime change because you can, because they're labeled as a terrorist organization, right? And so there's different laws when we deem them a terrorist organization. We can basically do whatever the fuck we want to them. You know what I mean? So anyways, back to this.
From Tuesday. In all the videos made public, the suspect's face was masked or turned away, and authorities have only been able to give a vague description of him as being stocky and about 5'8" tall. Officers have been canvassing around Providence in search of clues. that might help them figure out who was behind Saturday's campus shooting. But you can see here that suspect and person of interest coming into frame, courtesy of that video released by FBI Director Kash Patel. Now, sir, this surveillance video posted online before it was removed showed a person in dark clothing walking along multiple sidewalks for about an hour, starting shortly after 2 p.m. on Saturday. The streets were all within a few blocks of the Brown University Engineering Building where the shooting occurred. Some clips show the person walking in front of some property several times. In one, the person abruptly turns around and runs in the other direction when someone approaches. Two clips taken minutes after the shooting show the person walking away from a parking lot and then along a street. Police have received about 200 tips. That's according to the Providence Police Chief, after asking the public on Tuesday to look at their camera systems in the area to see if they have footage that might help officials identify the suspected gunman. A lack of cameras and clear video of the gunman has continued to frustrate both authorities and the community, while Brown President Christina Paxson confirmed Tuesday that the campus has 1,200 cameras. Law enforcement says there is no clear video of the shooter from inside of the engineering building. The Rhode Island Attorney General defended the investigation as going really well, as he pleaded for public patience in locating the suspected killer. But large questions remain, particularly about the shooter's motive. Now, we're pressed about a connection to ethnicity, political motive, or culture. The Attorney General said, quote, "That is a dangerous road to go down." So I wanted to showcase these images, again, released by FBI Director
What's up, Panelverse?
Good morning. All we have to go on. So it's been it's been a few days since Saturday.
Man, my fucking camera's lagging again. I got to reset it.
This gunman still has not been caught. And FBI Director Patel says that anyone with information or possibly some video footage that could help them in their efforts to locate this suspect to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Providence Police.
Okay, so this is basically all they're going to show here, right? Oh, what's this? Oh, the victims, some victims were identified here. Okay, we have not seen this yet. So Ella Cook being one of them, and Muhammad Adazi. Dude, I have no idea how the fuck you would say that. But anyways.
See them here now. These were the Brown University shooting victims. They had been identified. Two of them here. And really right now, it just remains unclear what the motive was, if at all, and where the suspect could have been heading. We're going to have some reports later on today with the reporters that are down there on the ground on the scene. They have been talking to investigators and to police. And we'll see what comes of this entire investigation.
That's right. That's right, Sterling Wheel.
We also have more video here. It kind of zooms into that suspect there. So you can see them a bit closer in case any of you may have any idea who this could be. Now, Providence did remain tense on Tuesday, so just yesterday, as additional police were sent to city schools to reassure worried parents that their kids...
What's up, Sterling Wheel, my man? Good. And also, thank you for the gifted membership. Very much appreciate that. Not only helping me, but helping another person in the family, man. So thank you for that. All right. So is there any other footage? Okay, there is a little bit of footage here that we haven't seen. Okay.
Providence Public Schools canceled after-school activities and field trips for the week as a precaution. So we just wanted to bring you that update. Not too much happening right now.
Yeah, we always see just the back of his head. We never see what his fucking face looks like. It looks like he's wearing a mask or some sort.
Suspect continues in the shooting that happened at Brown University. I also want to bring up a social media post from the FBI. And it says this, quote, FBI agents and analysts are working closely with law enforcement partners to track leads and gather intelligence to identify the person responsible for the mass shooting that occurred at Brown University. Members of the FBI evidence response team and specialists from the FBI laboratory are also assisting in processing and documenting evidence from the scene. As the investigation develops, the FBI will continue to provide assets, resources, and personnel to support our partners in seeking justice for the victims and their loved ones. And then on Monday, it says several agencies, of course, those partners did announce that $50,000 reward for information leading to the identification, arrest, and conviction of the individual responsible.
Okay, so now we have an update on the Bondi shooting. Surviving suspect charged 15 counts of murder and terrorism charges. You know what's funny is, oddly enough, that still sounds too light, you know? Let's hear what's happening here.
I appreciate you all being here. Thank you. I'm also joined with the New South Wales Police Commissioner Mal Lanyon for an update on the terrible events of last Sunday, a terrorism event, mass casualties, many people have been killed, and it's my sad duty to report that there are still 23 people in New South Wales hospitals. This morning I was able to attend Rabbi Ely's funeral, which was a a celebration of a man that was a gift for our city and someone who did so much, not just for the Jewish community, but for everybody that lives in New South Wales. He had a particular joy for Hanukkah, where he would dance down the street, and he will be sorely missed by his family, by his friends. It's a terrible, terrible crime, a shocking
Bondi. Okay, I thought it was Bondi. Bondi.
tragedy for New South Wales. This afternoon I'll be attending, at the invitation of the community, Rabbi Yaakov's funeral in Macquarie Park. Again, I expect that to be very large as the community, the Jewish community, comes together to mourn the loss of these senior clerics, these beautiful men who've been pillars of that community for such a long period of time. I'm also here to report that on the 22nd and 23rd of December, the government will call back the New South Wales Parliament to deal with urgent legislation that we believe is required pre-Christmas to keep the community safe. And
You know what's weird is they have like this on I don't know, the first press thing they did, they actually sounded really good, and this time it's like almost like, I don't know, like zero in on the voice, man. Where's the voice or where's the engineers, the audio engineers? Come on, man.
Ensure there's unambiguous laws in place when it comes to public safety. Firstly, in relation to firearms legislation in the state, we are proposing a bill which hasn't been finally drafted.
Oh boy, here we go. We're gonna put more gun laws on something that is already illegal as fuck.
We will share with the opposition as soon as possible to cap the number of firearms, to reclassify straight pull-up and pump-action shotguns, to look at reducing magazine capacity for shotguns, for prohibiting belt-fed magazines in those shotguns, and crucially removing NCAT as an appeal mechanism once a designation has been made about withdrawing a licence from the registered authority. Now, at the moment, New South Wales Police routinely yank licences from gun holders and licence holders that they suspect or fear are a threat to the community. Those appeals are heard in NCAT, and they're often, police's objections are often overturned, and the guns remain with that individual. We'll distinguish that appeal pathway. I'd also say, and I also want to say today, that I am firmly of the view, having spoken with many community members, not just from the Jewish community, but right across Sydney, that protests right now in Sydney would be incredibly terrible for our community. In fact, they would rip apart our community, particularly protests about international events. I completely understand that there are people concerned about what's happening overseas, and of course they've got every right to be concerned, but my worry is about what's happening in Sydney right now. We'll look at, my concern is that a mass demonstration in this combustible situation with our multicultural community could light a flame that would be impossible to extinguish. So we're looking at reforms whereby when there is a terrorism designation in the state, the police commissioner may not accept applications for protests on the grounds that it will both stretch police resources and secondly, add to community disharmony and as a result, a combustible situation in the state. I'm not aware of any protests at the moment, but I don't want to be in a situation where a last-minute Supreme Court approval means that police have to divert resources away from community safety or Operation Shelter, and I'm faced with a situation where the community is ripped apart because of a protest relating to international events. My responsibility right now is both community safety and community harmony, and I have to explore all possible ways of ensuring that we love...
Yeah, let's explore every possible way of banning something that's already banned. Let's go ahead and restrict it further. That's basically all that was really said here. So we're going to move on. Okay, Nick Reiner's hotel room reportedly, quote, full of blood and parents' murders. Now, I'm not surprised by that. Let's go ahead and bring this up. And we've been following this story since it broke.
We know that Nick Reiner has been arrested, charged, going to be making his first court appearance later on today. We're going to be joined now by Mario Ramirez with our team at Fox 11 in Los Angeles. He is covering the story very closely. Mario, what do we know about what we can expect?
Carell, good morning to you. Well, we know the suspect, 32-year-old Nick Reiner, could be entering a plea. He was initially set to make his first appearance yesterday, but we learned quickly that he was not medically cleared. And you've been hearing from some officials there, including the LA County District Attorney from that news conference you were sharing. He says that the District Attorney's office has yet to reach a decision about whether or not to pursue the death penalty in the case, but that is a possibility with the charges that have been filed. And today will now mark the 32-year-old's first time that he's coming face-to-face with those charges. Now, take a look. We've got a photo of him pictured here with his family at a recent movie premiere. We can tell you that,
man, he just totally looks like a bundle of joy, doesn't he? Doesn't he look like he's a a fun person to be around.
2-year-old is now charged in the double murder case involving his own parents. Prosecutors say Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, were stabbed to death before the couple was found inside their Brentwood home Sunday by their daughter. And at that news conference Tuesday, District Attorney Nathan Hochman announced charges against their son, Nick Reiner, being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Prosecutors adding a special circumstance alleging multiple murders, also alleging Reiner used a knife as the weapon, and that will be presented in court.
Damn, bro. Going out with stabbings, bro, it's very personal. Yeah, brutal.
If convicted, Reiner...
I'd rather die from a gunshot. You know what I mean? Fuck getting stabbed to death.
Could face life in prison without parole or the death penalty. And investigators say those stabbings happened Sunday morning before Nick was arrested later that night. Initially, he was set to be arraigned on Tuesday, yesterday, before we learned that it was delayed. And that could mean that he was resisting transportation to the jail, or he was having some sort of mental episode. That is not clear just yet. Now, his defense attorney, who also represented Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey...
No kidding, Poncho. No kidding.
Comment on his current mental state. Prosecutors now say he is expected in court today to appear before a judge. I'm back out here at the courthouse. So we did hear from prosecutors and the defense attorney here ahead of that court proceeding yesterday. So we're expecting updates here this morning. We also have not heard from authorities any update on a possible motive as this high-profile case continues here in downtown Los Angeles. For now, live downtown, I'm Mario Ramirez. Corral, back to you.
All right, Mario, thanks so much for checking in with us. We'll talk soon. Want to take us back out to that social media post that we have from our partners there at Fox 11. Take a look at this because they are following it very closely, in which they include a photo of Nick, also Rob and Michelle Reiner. They say this. Nick.
Wait, damn. So Fox LA is saying Nick Reiner's Santa Monica hotel room was allegedly full of blood in the wake of Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner's death.
Reiner's Santa Monica hotel room, allegedly full of blood in the wake of Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer Reiner's deaths. Now, Rob was the Emmy Award-winning star of the sitcom All in the Family, who went on to direct films including When Harry Met Sally and The Princess Bride. He was an outspoken liberal activist for decades. Michelle Singer Reiner was a photographer, movie producer, and advocate for LGBTQ+ rights. They had been married for 36 years. Several of those closest to them, including actors Billy Crystal, Albert Brooks, Martin Short, and Larry David, releasing statements mourning and celebrating the couple on Tuesday night. Nick Reiner had been scheduled to make that initial court appearance earlier Tuesday, but his attorney said he was not brought from the jail to the courthouse for medical reasons.
Of course, medical. All right, so he can only drag that on for so long. We got Naomi coming in with the $4.99, by the way. Thank you very much for that. And she says, just a reminder who the Chat Beach is. Yes. Very much appreciate you, Naomi, for that. All right, so we're going to move on into Brown University shooting manhunt intensifies, and it looks like maybe we have some sort of new images here. This is the latest update.
Now, police on Saturday initially announced a suspect.
Mind you, this just came out right before we started the show. So it's only been out for an hour.
Was in custody, but then corrected the statement to say no one was there. The next morning, investigators revealed.
Oh, Brother TVT coming in as a member as well. I very much appreciate you, kind sir. Thank you for, becoming a member, man. You are a member. It probably is just a glitch on my end. Once in a while, it shows me someone becoming a member, but they've already been members. So I don't know. Sometimes it's just a glitch. Anyways, so let's figure this out.
They detained a person of interest, but later in the day, they explained that person was determined not to be the shooter, and that person was let go, leaving a search underway for the gunman. There's a lot to discuss here as the case does progress, so I do want to bring in Brian Higgins, the founder of Group 77 and a former police chief and director of public safety. Thank you so much, Brian, as always, for taking the time to be here with us.
Of course, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And first off, I do want to start by asking you, because we have this new quote-unquote enhanced video that was released by the Providence Police Department on Tuesday. What stands out to you?
What, a zoomed in from the video, zoomed in image? Is that what you mean by enhanced?
What is it that people who are looking at this video need to be paying attention to?
What's up, Beezer? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
So the technology today allows law enforcement to take camera video footage and enhance it to the point where the pixelation that creates the images are much clearer. So what we now have is a clear image of the outline of the person, a little better coloration, we also have a better understanding of how this person walks and moves about. As the police chief said earlier, he wants residents and businesses in the area to look back not just on the day of the shooting, but weeks prior to see if this person had set up a pattern. So this allows individuals who may have come across.
How would you do that when you can't even figure out what his face looks like? How are you going to do all that?
This
you don't know a name
person to say, oh, I know who that person is, or this is where I've seen him.
TVT coming in with the $2, by the way. Very much appreciate it. Tyrant TVT here to make the leftists seethe. Yes, sir. Very much appreciate that. Making it rain up in this bitch.
Before.
When you get to this point here, as I mentioned, we're on day 5 of what some would call a manhunt, a search for a person of interest and essentially a suspect here. What are some of the investigative challenges in identifying and apprehending someone when you are 5 days in?
Well, it's the farther out you go, the more difficult it is to keep the trail, if you will, the investigation warm. What you have to do is continue to follow leads, but the farther out those leads are, you finally can investigate them to the full extent. If you have no other information, it's much more difficult to build a case. But at the same time, you have this technology that's out there. Some of it you and I aren't even aware of, that will allow law enforcement to track this individual's movements. So
okay, so is that really all you're going to talk about? Is how he fucking walks? Really?
I've learned a lot about the victims here, and I do want to pop up their images for you for just a second to give you a look, because one of them is the vice president of the college Republicans there on campus. But we have learned from police, they say there's no evidence here that the victims were specifically targeted. How do investigators go about making that determination? I'm sure
that's a good question. That is a good question right there.
Each case is kind of different, but how do they decide if someone was specifically targeted?
So it's multifaceted levels of this investigation. First and foremost are going to be eyewitness identification, individuals who were in the room at the time the shooting occurred. If the shooter particularly identified these suspects, moved past others to shoot them, that would indicate they were targets. If they were just people moving about in a room and were struck with gunfire, then there isn't any indication that they were targeted. Now, as this investigation goes on, there may be more information that is uncovered, but what the police are saying is, based on the current evidence and information they have, they can't identify them as particular targets.
I want to pop up this statement as well. This is actually coming in from Brown University. And
oh, wow. The university themselves are making a statement.
It brings up another topic that I want to discuss, because it says, in the aftermath of the shooting, we've seen harmful doxing activity directed toward at least one member of the Brown University community. It's important to make clear that targeting individuals could do irreparable harm there. Accusations, speculation, and conspiracies we've seen on social media and in some news reports are irresponsible, harmful, and in some cases dangerous for the safety of individuals in our community. It is not unusual as a safety measure to take steps to protect an individual's safety when this kind of activity happens, including in regard to their online presence. As law enforcement.
So, Beezer, this was a mass shooting that happened at Brown University like 2 days ago, 3 days, maybe. Was it 2 days ago? Yeah.
Enforcement officials.
I think it happened Monday, or I think it happened on Monday.
Stated clearly on Tuesday afternoon, if this individual's name had any relevance to the current investigation, they would be actively looking for this individual and providing information publicly. Now, that brings up, as I mentioned, another topic here, because you do have names that are released of, let's say, persons of interest. And again, it's important to note that Brown University did not specifically say that is who they're talking about. But when you have names released, when you have this information that's floating around on social media and is not relevant to the case, how does that make it more difficult for community members? And
I'm sure it makes it very difficult. I'll go ahead and answer that for you guys right there. Listen, I think we got the information that we needed out of this. That's the latest update that we've got. Listen, that totally concludes our hour for the morning. Listen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I can't do this without you guys. So I'm very honored to be able to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, give back to you guys on Saturday morning for members only, man. So I'm very honored to be able to do it. And I hope that you guys see that I also enjoyed as well. All right, stick around. We're going to be rating our buddy Chaotic Truth. And make sure you guys let them know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. Always appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys over there. And we'll see you guys back tonight at 7:10 or 7:15 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Diamond Effect. It's going to be a good-ass time. So anyways, God bless everyone. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul, with a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report and paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Sterling, I'm sorry for missing this, bro. Thank you, bro.